What's up? How y'all feeling? How y'all doing? So, you guys know why we are here. Of course, we are doing our last day of our live series concerning mental health awareness, and it has been phenomenal. I hope that you guys have enjoyed some of the information that my guests have actually presented and given to you guys, and I hope that you've gotten some tools that you can use, on an everyday basis concerning mental health and making sure that you are operating in a state of mental health wellness, right? We know that we all go through so much on a regular. We've all experienced a lot between 2020 and 2021 and the pandemic. And so, it's okay for us to understand that sometimes we have to utilize people who are specialists and who actually work and operate in the mental health field in that capacity and allow them to help us maneuver through this thing called life. And so this is what this series has been about. So of course, again, sponsored by 7th Avenue Premier Skincare. So if you have not taken advantage of 7th Avenue, you need to go give it a shot. We have a cleanser to remove any dirt, makeup, and all of that off your face. We have a toner to help with hyperpigmentation, also to help reduce acne. Keeping your skin clean helps reduce acne anyway. So we have a toner, we have a moisturizer just to add that in, add your moisture back into your skin. But fortunately, all of my products are natural. All of my facial products are paraben free. So there's no stripping that's going on anyway. So if you would like to take advantage of some 7th Avenue Premier Skincare, feel free to do so. The link is in my bio. My products, when I started out, I knew that I wanted my products to be reasonable, where the average woman could purchase something going towards her, making herself feel good without breaking the bank, so to speak. So I think you guys will be very happy with my price point. So we have a cleanser, toner, moisturizer, a lip primer, and a milk bath. I bet sometimes you're not doing what you need to do and taking time to sit in the bathtub. Well, this milk bath will help you want to do that. And the results and reviews I've been seeing a lot of is just the softness that's coming from the milk bath for the skin in its entirety. So make sure you guys head over to 7thavenueskin.com. Again, 7th Avenue. That's, our sponsor. We have a community initiative, and so that's our sponsor for the mental health awareness initiative that we've been doing. So tonight we have a special guest who's going to come on, and we're going to talk about mental health and social media. So let's get her on here. We'll only be on here for about 20 to 25 minutes. And let's see here. Okay, Lula, I saw you. Send me a press request again, if you don't mind. Remember to go to 7thavenueskin.com. Oh, there we go. Yay. So, let's get ready for our guest tonight. Y'all drop some hearts if you're excited. Hey.
Hi, Mel.
How are you doing?
Doing so good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well.
Oh, perfect. I'm so excited to be here and having this very much needed conversation.
Absolutely. Well, I am so thankful to you for taking some time out of your busy day just to come on my platform and share some advice and insights as it relates to mental health and social media and how it plays a role. So if you don't mind, introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so my name is Lula, Abera, and I do so many different things, but what I'm passionate about is I am a life coach, organizational development consultant, and I also do conflict resolution and mediation. I'm very passionate about studying people's behavior, so I got my master's in organizational psychology. So I do a lot of consulting work, working with different corporations and nonprofits to see how we can bring employees together to connect them really, especially, which we're going to talk about today with COVID and how it really disconnected us because we were able to work from home. A lot of our connection to human beings has been like via Zoom, social media, what have not. So I go into organizations and help them create a strategy around how to create a healthy work culture. And I work one-on-one with my, oh, someone's Ethiopian. I am Ethiopian. Someone pick me up.
Oh,
And some of you also might know me. I'm a creator as well. So I run the Love and Marriage Huntsville page. So
yes.
this, which is very needed conversation on this as well about like managing various things and how social media plays a role in that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, again, wow, first of all, you do a myriad of different things. Congratulations to you. I think for one thing that I want to ask is how how do you feel since COVID? How do you feel people not interacting as much and are interacting mostly by way of email, phone, Zoom,
Mm-hmm.
right? How do you think that that has affected us and our mental health?
That's such a very, it's a great question because there is, I'm a data girl. I love looking at data because data is really what tells the story. So currently there are a lot of different researchers and organizations and institutions that are really focusing on proving the point of mental health and social media and on the use of screen, not just social media, but the use of screen, especially with COVID, has increased the mental health crisis that we have experienced, which is like the loneliness that we're feeling, the anxiety and the depression. If you go back, I think what 2020 is when COVID really hit, right? That's when the pandemic was
Yeah.
declared.
Mm-hmm.
We went from, if you went to your 9 to 5, 8 to 5, or whatever hours you worked, you went from waking up in the morning, getting ready, knowing that you're going to go interact with your coworkers, with the clients that you're serving with, to eliminating that completely. I'm not going to lie, at first I was very happy because I got to work from home wearing my pajamas, to for 2.5 years, and some of us are still working from home, to working from a screen. No human connection because of the virus and how no one really knew how that was going to affect us. So we human beings are social creatures. We need human connection. And I'm not talking about going into work. I'm talking about just the social aspect of being able to see, to hug, to feel your friends, your loved ones, to just be around them and to receive that energy. So when you eliminate that for 2.5 years and ongoing, what happens? Where do we end up getting our social needs from?
Yeah.
Social media.
Right, right. There we go.
Oh, here we are. Yeah, so it's, there is a study that's currently being done, and I don't think we'll be able to see really the results in almost like 10 years or so because there's a lot of different things that's going into it. But I can personally speak, I struggled with high anxiety. I struggled with feeling lonely because I wasn't seeing, I'm very close to my mom. I wasn't seeing my mom every day during the pandemic when that happened. And navigating the world through the news that we were receiving through social media and the news on TV. Think
Yeah.
about how much we were exposed, the crisis of the world, constantly on social media, and how that affected all of us, really. Some of us might have been very aware to see it happen, but a lot of us are, I think, now feeling the effect of the last 2 years.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, in terms of social media, right? Do you feel like social media then has a positive effect or a negative effect? And
It's,
how can we, because it's kind of one of those things where now social media is almost, especially if you have a business, right? It's almost
yeah,
things that you have to do and have to be a part of, right? So, how do you manage making sure that you're using it and keeping it for positivity?
that's such a great question. If you go back to, I might be showing a little bit of my age, but my first interactions with social media was MySpace. Do y'all remember MySpace? Where you
Yeah.
had to, like your top eight. But even then, we didn't have smartphones, right? And then Facebook came, and when Facebook came, it was marketed as, and I believe truly they were intentional in a good way, that to connect your loved ones. Me being an immigrant to this country, like my way of connecting to my family at that time was Facebook. It was easy to connect with them, talk to them, and I got to see real moments of pictures being shared and all that good stuff. And then pay attention to the evolution of social media. And then we got our Instagram, Snapchat, the YouTube, and we have the Reddit, and we have this TikTok now. And the platform really shifted to our livelihood, pretty much. So the benefit of social media is, think about even the last 2 years, how we were able to use our social media platforms to amplify and mobilize various issues around social justice, hold people accountable for the things that they did, being able to really speak your truth in a way that you have other strangers to champion around you. Like,
Right.
that's a beautiful thing. And what you currently are doing right now, Melody, like being able to use your platform to have a conversation around mental health. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't have to do that, but you give us access to your 400,000 plus followers to have this very important conversations. So that's the beauty of social media.
Yeah.
However, what happens when you spend 4 or 5 plus hours of your time, whether you are leisurely using social media or you're a business owner or content creator?
Right.
Your time is very much so needed to be invested on your social media content creation.
Right.
So you wake up, what do? A lot of people, including myself, this is something I'm working on. I pick up my phone, I go straight to my social media. And I wasn't even paying attention to it until my husband pointed it out. He was just like, well, hello, good morning. I was like, oh,
Aw. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
this isn't good. So it was just, I started paying attention to the habits that I created over the last couple of years, which was wake up, get my phone, stay on social media. When I was eating, I had my phone on me and I was on social media. So I'm like, what type of life am I living? And the fact that maybe it's the thought of fear of missing out of what's happening on social media. So the effect is really, I think, right now being evaluated, very much so needed. And a lot of the social media platforms are being held accountable as well to provide data around the age, the hours of people on social media. In 2019, I think worldwide 3.4 billion people have access and use of social media. And I'm sure that increased the last 2 years. So it just goes to show you the good and the bad of how you utilize it.
Right. Right. So one thing I want to say is that, you know, I take breaks sometimes from social media,
Yeah.
right? And so when I take those breaks, I pretty much, you know, I may take a week or two where I'm not as active on social media, which, you know, it's a decision that also sometimes costs me, besides, you know, just being interacting with people on social media. But I have multiple businesses that I promote by
Yes.
social media. But what I learned, Lula, was that it was more important for me to be mentally healthy, even if that meant me losing money for those 2 weeks of not really posting, but taking time for myself
Mm-hmm.
without all the stuff that we see on social media. Because we know with social media, we hear about so much, so often, very quickly. And it sometimes it can be depressing, right? You have what we call internet bullies as well, who love to try to attack you and attack your mental health and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I do. Do you
Mm-hmm.
have a recommendation for people who are on the, you know, on the live right now in terms of taking social media breaks or making sure that they are, you know, not becoming, I guess I ain't gonna say not becoming victims to social media bullies, because I'll be honest with you. Let me say this real quick. I cannot think of anyone that I don't know whose page I scrolled by and stopped to leave a bad comment about them. Just being honest. No one, like, you know, like people that you don't even know and you just scrolling and, oh, your hair is ugly. Oh, your makeup looks bad. I've never ever done it. I don't understand how people do it, but they.
Mm-hmm.
So do you recommend people sometimes taking social media breaks? Like, what do you think?
Ooh, you covered so much. And I think you are the perfect example of someone who is living her life, right, on the screen, but also really cherish privacy as well. Um, social media bullies are going to exist. I look at them as people who are projecting more than willing to understand. Like, if you're willing to take time out of your busy schedule to really like break down someone in a comment section, then what does that really say about you more than so the other person? I think
Mm-hmm.
that's something for people to think about. But as far as taking care of yourself, you pointed out, like, I know, like you mentioned that you take time to disconnect for 2 weeks and come back, recharge, and go about your business. And I look at it as, if you're not here on this earth with us, what is the purpose of everything that you're building? if you're not taking care of yourself, what is the point of doing everything that you're hustling or overworking? Like, what is the point? What truly is the point? So there are a few things that I do, strategies that I use. There are so many beautiful apps that you can use. You can schedule your post, which I do a lot of. Yeah. So I create a lot of.
I like that. I might need to do that. Y'all heard what she said? She said there's an app where you can schedule. Yeah. So would that mean even though you're not on social media for a week or two, your post, you're not missing that?
Yep. Okay. So a lot of times on my platforms, I'm not really on my platforms. The posts have been scheduled, time, date, the caption, everything is scheduled. And I use it a lot of times when people would DM me, say like, hey, you ignored me for a few hours. I'm like, I wasn't on social media. I know you saw my post, but I wasn't on it. So there are a lot of tools, apps that you can use to, if you're a creator like us, or if you just want to share some of your photos, you can schedule it. You can schedule it, I think, up to 4 weeks or so. Then you can post as many that you want. Yeah, I'll send you the information. I can't think of the apps. There are several apps that you can use. And the other thing that I use is I highly recommend everyone creating a realistic plan around disconnecting with social media. Like, just like working out, like you can't go from 0 to 100. Mm-hmm. If you went to using social media every single day of life, like cold turkey, you might be able to do it, but realistically, you might not. So what does it look like to compromise and say, when I wake up, I won't pick up my phone, but I'm actually going to like journal. I know that's something you talked about last week in your life. I'm going to sit down and think about, how do I want to show up today? How do I want to feel today? Yes. And how does being on social media play a role in me feeling good about myself today? So being able to create that awareness around in what way you're spreading your energy around social media or interaction with other people. The one thing that I really do that works for me, and I use this with the organizations I work with, but I kind of restructured it and use it with myself and my clients, is I have this thing called a 72 hours assessment. And this is something that I noticed within the last 2 years. So basically, have you ever had a week where you felt just like, it's Friday, you feel drained, you feel like you didn't get nothing done, you can't really pinpoint like, how did I get here? And I feel even more terrible about myself than I did like on a Monday. Yeah. So one of the things that I do with my clients that I work with, and something that I implemented with myself, is I do an assessment. So I do an evaluation of my last 72 hours or even 48 hours of what I did during the day, who I interacted with, what kind of food did I eat, what type of like content creation did I interact with that truly drained my energy to the point that the next day it caused me not to show up for myself. Right. So when you sit down and write that down, you will be able to track your footsteps and say like, hey, I woke up on a Monday. The first thing I did is go to a gossip site and read an article that made me feel bad about myself, or I saw a news article that genuinely broke my heart. Now I'm walking around this anxiety with me everywhere I go. Right. And you're able to create like a solution. So now you know how you feel. Mm-hmm. Moving forward, you know not to interact with those type of platforms, so to avoid feeling the way that you do. I like it. I mean, I think what you're saying is very true. Like you said, for one, most of us pick up our phone and, we have something, we run to social media as soon as we wake up. And there is so much negativity at times when it comes to social media. And I think that's important too. I know at one point, my following number was very high. And I went through a whole phase where I was unfollow. And it was only because I began to purge, following, because there were certain things that I just didn't want enter my spirit. So if it was somebody who was mostly talking trash, talking negative, when I was like, unfollow. So that's another thing I think that comes to the reflecting, and that comes to assessing yourself and where you are and the changes that you need to make, because social media can be a cruel world. It can become a bully for some. Yeah. And unfortunately, we start to feel that we have to engage and interact in social media. Mm-hmm. See all this crazy stuff, right, on YouTube and on
Facebook and on Instagram, and then that stirs up something in us that makes us feel like, oh no, they didn't. I'm about to have fun, right? And so then you go through this whole thing where you're literally risking the work that you've done mentally and to vibrate higher and to have your energy higher. You're risking a complete, decline in all of that because of something you're seeing on social media. So I think that on social media, you have to learn how to truly manage your emotions and put your mental health first.
Absolutely. The best way that I look at it is I look at social media as my physical home. And if and would you invite any random people to your physical home, people to come into your house and leave trash and talk to you any other way and to give them access to your life? That's what my page represents. My personal page, my business page is my home. So I'm very particular and thoughtful about and intentional about who I interact with and what I even like and dislike. Because the way the algorithm work is the more you like certain topics, the more that you're going to get.
Right.
So after a while, you're just like, I don't even want to see this information anymore, content anymore. But you engage with it so much that the platform thinks this is what you love. So I'm going to give you more of. Yeah. So go ahead and unfollow or mute. Mute is my favorite thing to do. I mute a lot of people if I'm not ready to unfollow them just yet. Like creating boundaries around where your likes are, dislikes are.
Yes, come on. That's been my key word for the past about 7 months. Boundaries, setting boundaries. Yes.
Yes, and people are not going to like it, and that's okay. But your job is to define your non-negotiables and your boundaries, and how you and know and be very comfortable with knowing that not everyone is going to appreciate them because they have met the old version of you that didn't have the boundaries. So that same thing applies to your personal life and to your social media. So the things that I used to laugh at, it's not funny to me anymore. The things I used to engage with, I no longer am interested in because you're growing and evolving. So treat your platform like your home.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And like she said, you're not going to just let anybody and everybody into your home, right? And so, she said, hey, treat it the same way.
Yeah, look at it that way. And if you are one of those people that just love to leave a little mean comments, just take a moment, take 5 seconds, 10 seconds to see like, what is this going to do for me? Like, what is this comment going, what is the purpose behind this comment, me leaving this comment on this person? Because you truly never know. Before I got on, I was reading some of the comments, and it was a person who commented saying a friend of their friend kid just killed himself. And social media, right? So you just never know how your words truly affect other people. So if you truly want to criticize someone, say it in a way that is useful for them to grow and learn from.
Absolutely. And then, but not only that, and maybe this is why I don't spend a lot of time commenting on random people's social media stuff, because who are you to even feel your opinion should matter or you're worthy to tell someone what they should do or shouldn't do? I think that social media opens things up to make people feel like they can cross so many boundaries and they can just drop all their opinions and their feelings that day that they're having, that they can drop it on you. And you should just take it, and you better just sit there and take it. It's definitely an interesting world. For sure.
It is a human psychology. Like the part that I love studying about human behavior is a lot of it is a lot of projection that we do, right? Based on how our experience, how we grew up, and what you think is normal. Like you tend to project that on other people and how they should live their life. However, if I haven't learned anything through my own personal experiences, like y'all, life is hard. You just never know what someone is experiencing behind the screen and behind the filters, behind the posts that they make. And do not project your way of living on other people. It just doesn't work. Respect and set boundaries around. If they like it, you love it, keep it moving. Like it literally does nothing for you.
It doesn't. You know what I think I've realized, Lula, is I see how there are so many people who are in relationships or who are in marriages, and they spend so much time trying to change people instead of loving and accepting people for who they
Ooh.
are, because people try to do it to people they don't know all the time. Try to should be wearing, shouldn't be wearing, should be doing, should they try to change you instead of loving. Hey, if this part of me you don't like, just don't respond. If you like this part, cool. But I see how people end up really feeling like they can change their mates, their spouses, and get them to conform to what it is they want them to do and who they want them to be, because they get on social media trying to do that to strangers.
Absolutely. And I'll share this personal story with you, Mel. And I have never told this like out in public, but like, so my husband and I, we've been married for 4 years, together for 12 years. We're like college sweethearts, right? Okay. So the first 2 years of our relationship, I kept on telling him, like, you're not making me happy. You're not, I'm just not happy in this relationship. And he will put in effort. And I'm like, I'm just not happy. And then he'll put in effort. I'm like, So finally, he was just like, you're just not a happy person. Like, you need to work through whatever you're going through. And I was just like, oh. So, but that opened my eyes of like, I was projecting so much of my dislike with what was going on in my personal life. And I was torturing this poor man. So, and thank God, like, we were mature enough to have a conversation. And thank God I was in a space to really listen to what he was saying to me about myself. And thank God I was in a place and had resources to work through my own little issues that I had. But that was such a eye-opening moment. And like, how can you expect people to show up and do things that you're asking of them when you're not doing that for yourself?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're so right. And everyone knows, before we wrap up, you guys know, I've been on my self-love journey, and it has been very fulfilling. I've been enjoying it very much so. And so part of, getting to a place where you love yourself enough, you love your mental health enough and your mental state of wellness enough not to allow entry into that space from things and people who are not serving you, who are not, helping you to reach the highest level of potential or the highest capacity, right? Of you being in a great mental state. And so I think that learning to truly love yourself, learning to protect your peace once you get a taste of what peace truly, right? Because, sometimes you're in situations where you don't really see or feel what's happening to you until you're out of it. And then you look back and you're like, oh my gosh. And that happens, right? Those moments happen. So you have to get to a point where you love your peace enough and you love your mental well-being enough that nothing trumps that.
Absolutely. Like, you have to choose yourself. That's what self-love and peace looks like. And when you start choosing yourself, that's usually when people start attacking you from every direction. Because
people don't choose yourself. It's sad, but it's real. People don't, and I will say this, the spirit within those people are that you're choosing yourself.
And a lot of times, self-healing, work looks really lonely because you're elevating to a new space where you're no longer on the same level as the people you used to be around. And I've been through so many different versions of that, and it truly could be lonely. However, it's nothing like being comfortable and loving yourself enough not to put on a mask anymore around a lot of people. When you go to sleep, you're not taking that mask off and then meeting yourself, and then you wake up and putting that mask back on. So self-love is real work and hard work. However, you attract your tribe. You really will find your people once you put in the work.
Very, very, very true. Well, is there anything that you would like to add before we get ready to say goodbye? You guys, make sure you guys go and follow. Give me your social media handle so I can pin it really quickly so they can go follow you.
Yes, it's LULA and then another A, B as in boy, ERA _. So I am a life coach. I am an organizational development consultant. I do conflict and resolution mediation. I love connecting with people. I love sharing resources. I'm currently in the process of publishing. It'll be out in about 4 weeks or so. Design your best, the best version of yourself workbook. It will be given access to people who can't do one-on-one coaching with me. So you'll have access to the information and resources that I use with my clients. So they'll be out, but please follow
That's
me on my.
amazing. Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Thank you. I will be sure to send you one because we talked about this before. So it has 5 different chapters and it's truly deep work that you have to do. And this is why I do a lot of consultation before I even take clients, because not a lot of people are ready to be coached. And that's okay. You know, we all have our own moments, but this journal book, workbook is truly going to help you kind of like meet yourself, your true self, and then create the best version of yourself based on the work that you have done. So I'll be hopefully be out in a month.
And you said in about 4 weeks?
4 weeks. Yep, it'll be out.
Okay, so look, guys, I just pinned Lula's Instagram. Y'all make sure y'all run over there and follow her. Amazing life coach, conflict resolutionist, strategist, all of that. So make sure you guys go and follow her on Instagram. Get ready. In about 4 weeks, she's rolling out this amazing workbook to help all of us, right, become the best version of ourselves. And that means operating at our highest potential and our highest capacity.
Yes.
So go and follow her. Lula, you have been amazing. Thank you again for taking time out of your day and just coming and sharing some advice, some tips and input on how social media affects mental health and what we can do, some things we can do to, help combat that.
Absolutely. And thank you for using your platform to have this important conversation. You've been doing it for 3 weeks, and I know you have created your community outreach through your skincare brand as well. And it's very much so needed for humans to feel like they're being heard and understood. And you're doing that seriously. And I'm proud of you. And I'm just genuinely grateful for this opportunity as well.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Well, good night. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Guys, drop some hearts. Drop some hearts if you really enjoy Lula being on the live tonight. I have pinned her Instagram, so make sure, like I said, y'all go follow her. Get ready for her product that she's rolling out. It's a workbook. Get ready for that to drop in a few weeks. I pinned her again right here. Again, our mental health awareness initiative was sponsored by 7th Avenue Premier Skincare. Make sure you go and input your number on the website to be a part of our text community. We gave away $500 last week. We're giving away $200 on this upcoming Monday. And the winners are randomly chosen by phone numbers in our database. So if your number ain't in the database, that means you ain't getting chosen. So you're already out. Now, I don't know how many more giveaways I'm going to do, but you're going to be out all of them unless your number is in the database. So head over to 7thAvenueSkin.com, enter your email and phone number so that we can add you to our texting list. We're giving away $200 this past Monday. Last Monday's winner who won $500 was a sweet young lady. She's in law school right now. And the message she sent me afterwards in terms of some things she had going on, I know that it was God meant and heaven sent. So that's what it's all about. 7th Avenue community is about using what we've been blessed with, because so many of you are buying our products that we're able to give back. And that's the thing, when you sow seeds, right, you need to sow your seed on good ground, on fruitful ground. And so for me, I look at it like, you know what, as long as God keeps blessing me, as long as God continues to open doors, and as long as God continues to make sure 7th Avenue is doing what needs to be done, I'm going to use my resources to give back. And that's what it's about. So we've had our Mother's Day initiative, mental health awareness, and then we're doing something else in June, and we're going to do something every month. So 7th Avenue community is where it's at. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love and your prayers. And until next time, I hope you guys have an amazing week and weekend, and go sign up for Monday's, random winner chosen for $200. So make sure y'all go sign up. All right. Good night, everyone. I love you guys. I hope you guys have a safe night. And remember to continue to pray for the families of the children in Texas whose lives were taken We are praying for them. We're going to continue to pray for them. Right now, our country is mourning. Like, this is a lot. It's like, when does it stop? So please, please, please lift those families up in prayer.